Welcome to another edition of Horror Tales from Around the Net. Tonight's episode, Yellow Devil. My favorite video game character is Mega Man. Growing up, it was one of my favorite games to play. Back then, I've only played Mega Man 2 through Mega Man 8, and I could never find a copy of the original Mega Man. About a year after Mega Man 8 came out, I went to an old video game store to pick up Super Mario World to give it to my older brother as a moving out gift, when I found an old copy of Mega Man 1 with the cover art torn off and leaving bits and pieces of the leftover sticker and Mega Man 1 written on it with black marker. I have never played the original Mega Man before, so I decided to buy it. I went to the checkout to buy the two games when all of a sudden the checkout clerk just froze and dropped the Mega Man cartridge. I asked what was wrong, but he told me, "Take it. I can't stand to look at it. Can't stand to think of it." I asked what he means by this, and all he could say was, "Yellow Devil." I looked at him confused when he quickly gave me the bag and told me, "Burn that cartridge. Destroy it. I don't care how you do with it. Get rid of it. Do not play it, or it'll be after you too." I looked at him, worried, and I quickly ran out of the store and went back home. I was curious on what all the fuss over this cartridge of Mega Man was about. I quickly put it in my NES, feeling curious on what scared the hell out of the clerk. Besides, it is Mega Man we're talking about. How bad could it be? I was greeted with the title screen. I pressed start, and instantly there was a loud screeching sound coming from the game, with a picture of a red eye appearing shortly after, lasting for about a split second. I was then greeted with the stage select screen. I saw all 6 Robot Masters: Cutman, Gutsman, Electman, Bombman, Iceman, and Fireman. One thing I found odd was that the background was pitch black, and the Robot Masters had bright red eyes. My brother, who had played this game before, told me that Cutman was the easiest boss, so I decided to follow his advice. I selected Cutman, but instead of displaying the Robot Master's name after selecting him, it said, "Leave now." I started the level, and it was just a straightforward path. No enemies, no bottomless pits, nothing. It played Cutman's theme, which sounded nice, but as Mega Man started walking to the right, the theme became more and more demonic, slowing down in tempo and lowering in pitch. At the end of the road was a boss door. I entered it, and there was Cutman. Before the fight started, Cutman said, "Mega Man, get out, or it'll catch you and take you along with it." The battle started, and I fought Cutman. During the battle, giant yellow blobs started to appear on the screen. They weren't coming for Mega Man, they were aiming at Cutman. The blob formed over Cutman, and then he started screaming while the yellow blob slowly killed him. After that, the screen went black and showed a series of violent pictures of Cutman being suffocated, crushed, and torn apart by the yellow mass. All that was left of Cutman was his head and a couple of limbs, with blood all over the floor. The loud screeching noise from before showed up, and this time it lasted longer. And text showed up saying, "They will all die. And so will you. No one can escape the Yellow Devil." I was sent back to the title screen to see that Dr. Wily's castle was now accessible, and that the rest of the Robot Masters were gone. I chose Wily's castle, and instead of displaying Wily's name, it said, "You were warned. Now you will pay." After that, I was immediately transported there. The sky was blood red, and the castle was destroyed, covered in flames and blood. Mega Man slowly walked into the remains of the castle to find Wily, Dr. Light, Roll, and the other Robot Masters on the floor. They all seemed to be dead, as there was blood on the floor and on their lifeless bodies. I walked up to them, and then text from all the characters appeared saying, "Why didn't you save us? Turn back now! It's going to kill you! You cannot escape! The red eye! The red eye!" And as Mega Man continued to walk forward, the yellow blobs from before came out from behind him at an incredibly fast rate, and formed a giant yellow creature with a demonic red eye. All it said was, "I am the Yellow Devil. No one can escape me. The screeching noise immediately came back, only this time it was louder and lasted through the whole fight. The blobs came hurling at Mega Man at an incredibly fast pace that I couldn't have Mega Man dodge them. And with each blob that hit Mega Man, he became slower and slower and jumped lower and lower. It got to the point where Mega Man couldn't move, and he was swallowed whole by the Yellow Devil. The screeching noise got even louder as the giant blob spat Mega Man out and revealed a mangled, ripped apart, blood-drenched corpse. The screen went black, and all that was shown was the corpse of Mega Man and a red eye forming behind it. The screeching noise got even louder and more high-pitched as text appeared saying, "They are all dead. Now you're next." Then the words, "No one can escape the Yellow Devil," kept forming on the screen. The text kept getting bigger and the screech getting louder and high-pitched, and soon after the red eye appeared again, with the screech reaching its maximum pitch and volume. I quickly shut off the game and took it out of the console. I then took it with me and went to go back to the game store I bought it at to get some answers on this thing I was holding in my hand. I barged into the store to find that all the games were gone and the store clerk was nowhere to be found. Angry, I then proceeded to drive up back to my house, scared out of my mind with only one objective: destroy this game. I got a hammer from my garage and I proceeded to violently smash the game to bits, and then threw the remaining pieces into my garbage can. My older brother soon came home afterwards, and he asked me what was up. I told him what happened and explained what I'd witnessed. He didn't seem to believe me at first, but he soon gave in, stating he had never seen me this freaked out before. He then patted me on the back and asked me if I wanted to come by his new house and hang out there and watch some TV. I agreed and we drove to his house. We watched The Simpsons for a while when all of a sudden I fell asleep. I dreamt that I was walking to my house in the middle of the night. I soon went up to my driveway when all of a sudden my stomach started to hurt. It started to get worse, and soon I was vomiting and coughing out blood in this yellow substance. I continued this non-stop until the yellow substance formed into the Yellow Devil. I then proceeded to run, but it split into multiple pieces and they latched onto me. I couldn't move. I couldn't yell for help because my mouth was covered up. I was helpless. It then swallowed me whole, and all I could hear was my agonizing screams and a loud screeching sound. I felt my bones being crushed and my skin being torn apart as it violently ripped off my limbs, and every time I opened my mouth to scream, I kept drinking the yellow ooze until it suffocated me, and the last thing I could hear was, "You thought you could escape me, but you were wrong. No one escaped the Yellow Devil." I kept repeating, "No one escapes the Yellow Devil," over and over, getting louder and louder, along with the screeching sound as I slowly suffocated. After that, I could see my mangled, lifeless corpse lying on the ground, with the red eye behind it. The end. Thus concludes another horror tale from around the net. Join us next time for another horrifying tale.